Today we're beginning a new book, The World and Thorinn by Damon Knight, first written in 1968. Today we'll begin chapter 1. The chapters are a little too big to do all at one section, so we'll do them in parts. Today is chapter 1, how Thorinn Goriatsson learned he was not the son of his father and descended into the underworld without wishing to do so. In the days of King Alf, there was a house in windy Hovenskar, at the hub of the world, where the sky turns round the pipe of Snorri. The house was of sods with a stone roof, for no other sort of roof can stand against the winds that blow this way and that way over cold Hovenskar as the sky turns. Now Hovenskar is like a yellow bowl, and from this side of it to the other side is 3 days' journey. Long is the spoon with which the gods eat porridge from that bowl. Northward can be seen the half of Snorri's pipe, a gray-green column 3 leagues in thickness, yet so tall that it seems to prick the sky like a needle, and around it the sky swings, half light and half dark. Therefore at high noon there is an eye of darkness peering over the rim of Hovenskar, and at midnight an eye of brightness. And the wind blows from the dark to the light, this way and that way, over Hovenskar. In this unlucky place, in the days of King Alf, there lived a man called Goriat and his 3 sons, who were outlaws driven out of Jelsland. Goriat and his 2 elder sons were gray-skinned lowlanders, 4 ells tall with tusk-like daggers. And the youngest son was pink as a Highlandman, and stood no taller than Goriat's belt buckle. Though he had a withered leg, he was sturdy and quick, and could jump higher than his own head. Thus, he was called Thorinn, which is a kind of flea. Now it happened on the last day of King Alf, when a roof tile dashed his brains out, that for thousands of leagues, even unto the land of the Skrylings, the earth became flat where it had formerly risen, and arose where it had been flat. Rivers left their banks, lakes became marshes. The air was one black scream of birds, and everywhere cookpots rolled out of kitchens while the cooking wenches tumbled after. But of all this, the 4 in Hovenskar knew nothing. They knew only that Snorri's pipe had begun to roar, with a sound that thrummed in the bones and could not be shut out, though they stopped their ears with their fingers. That their bodies had turned light as in a dream, that there was an earth shock that made men and horses dance on the ground like lice on a griddle, and that bits of the sky were falling like frost flakes. Before they could gather their wits about them, one of the horses, a mare with foal, had broken her leg in the peat bog, and the rest were scattered up the high curve of the valley, from whence it was a half day's work to drive them home again. Now this was a weighty matter, and it grew weightier still on the 2nd day, when the other 4 mares went dry. Goriat took the finest of the remaining horses, a stallion of 2 summers, and sacrificed him to Snorri. But the demon did not leave off roaring. Instead, as Goriat finished his prayers, there was a second earth shock, and from the well nearby came the crack of stone breaking, and all the water ran away into the underworld, leaving the well dry as a skull. Then the 2 elder sons urged their father to leave Hovenskar and fare southward, but the old man, whose hand was still heavy, though his mane had turned white as frost, could have none of it. In all the midworld there is no safety for me or those of my blood, save in Hovenskar, said Goriat to his sons. Nor may Thorinn leave, for I have sworn by wit and ba to keep him. Thus did the 2 sons learn from their father's lips, for the first time, though in truth it was plain to be seen, that Thorinn was no blood brother of theirs. But if we sacrifice another horse, we may go empty-bellied through the winter, said Withinga, the eldest son. Moreover, it's plain enough that Snorri wants no horses. Thus spoke Untha, the second son. Is he the demon of waters or not? When the horse was offered, he was vexed and broke our will. We must give him something better, said Withinga. Idle is boasting when the hands are empty, Goriat answered. What must we, fare to Skrilling's land and bring back a sacrifice? Not so far as that, Withinga said, and he pointed his chin toward the hillside where Thorinn was leading the horses to the spring. Goriat said then, Would you make me an oath breaker? I tell you, I swore to keep the boy until Snorri takes him. Untha rose and pointed to the black mouth of the well. Then give him to Snorri. So it was agreed. When Thorinn came down, suspecting nothing, they said to him, Go into the well, see whether it can be mended. Then, when he was in the well, they pulled up the bucket and covered the well mouth with a great stone and prayed over it. And that's the end of that section.